going to call the meeting to order. I'm going to call the meeting to order in one moment. The first thing I'd like to do is establish the forum of the meeting. Everybody has permission to record the meeting on their own personal devices from the Zoom. The board will be speaking on each issue. In between each issue, we will be opening it up to the members of the association for 2 minutes of comments. We do not want to have repetitive questions on the same topic. Also, there are to be no interruptions. Let everybody be respectfully able to speak clearly. Any interruptions will result in being muted. We'd like to get through this meeting with a 1 hour time limit. With that being said, I'm going to call the meeting to order. We've established a quorum. Each one sound off individually for the record.
Daniel Epstein.
Regina Goldstein.
Guillermo Cipher.
Mariano Magro.
Alexandra Kazmierski.
Elise Jamanes.
Marvin Lebovitz. Proof of notice of meeting has been posted, and the approval of the previous meeting minutes are to be read by the secretary.
Marvin, actually, it's a closed door meeting.
Okay, being that it's a closed door meeting, we do have the minutes of the meeting. Okay. Moving on to old business.
Marvin,
item 5.
Marvin,
yes.
Marvin, make a motion to approve the previous.
Correct. Motion. Motion to approve the previous meeting minutes.
Yes, I make a motion to approve the closed door board meeting of March 10th, 2021.
I second the motion.
Thank you, Alex.
All in favor?
Yes.
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 Aye.
Yeah.
All in favor. Okay, old business. First item up on the agenda is the manufacturing of the coils for the cooling towers. I'd like to bring everybody up to speed on this issue. This was a project that Eddie and I were working on 3 years ago in order to have the ready available coils, as they have to be custom made in the event that we have a failure. The time frame to make them is 2 months. Unfortunately, this issue was kicked down the road. It should have been done a year ago. We have 3 proposals for the coils, and my recommendation, based on Eddie's recommendation, is that he would like to have AMP Air Conditioning, who is our current AC servicing company, as they know all the equipment, and he's very happy with their service. And the option for that is number 2, which is $26,475, as those particular units are being dipped and baked in order to extend their longevity. Does the board have any questions? It's opened up to the board.
No questions.
I do have a question, Marvin. And this is, we need to replace the coils just for the unit of the tower 1, or we are going to do it for
these are for both towers.
And this is the individual price by each.
Correct. Correct.
So we are in a so the total cost is around $50,000.
$53,000.
Okay.
Right. These coils are going to fail. It's going to be sooner than later, and if we don't have them, we are going to be without air for 2 months, because that's the time frame in which they are custom made to fit into our AC room.
I agree.
Any other questions from the board on this issue?
Yes. I
Go
spoke
ahead.
I did spoke today to Eddie and Udi. I understood the option what we got, and we have another two bids, and a little bit. One is higher, one is a little bit lower, but after I spoke to Udi and I did a little bit of research and everything, makes sense to use this company since since they're doing the service on the building. And the only things I like I go forward for it. The only things that I want in their contract, more detail on the coil.
Okay, noted.
If it's fit and,
Please put Danny's notation in the minutes. Any other questions from the board? If not, we'll open this up for a couple questions from the association members.
I understand another thing I want to say. I understand for Mariano, these things was in last year budget too. Mariano, correct me if I'm wrong.
We were looking to do it in this present.
It's for the next
June.
year budget, or it was last year approved budget?
No, it's not in the budget just because we were not doing budget for reserved money, which I think in the future we should be looking to it.
Okay, let me please jump in here for a second and just explain something. This was not in the budget for the mere reason that this is an operational expense. The whole thing about changing the coils is to extend the life of the entire AC handler unit. We have two options to go about this. We can either not do the refurbishing of the coils or replacement of the coils, but now we're going to have to deal with replacement of the entire AC handler units. Each unit, and we have two of them, will cost us with installation, labor, material, close to $300,000, if not more. So in order to save the association from going into an expense of close to $650,000, the idea was to change the coils now, which are failing in Tower 2. It's working on 20% capacity right now. So the life of the AC unit handler will be extended anywhere between 2.5, 3 years to 4 years, and will buy us some time so we can actually from a financial standpoint, be ready. And this will be a reserve line item in the future. But right now it's purely operational.
Any questions from the association members? At this point, I make a motion that we vote to accept AMP option number 2.
I agree.
Was that Guillermo seconding it?
Excuse me, I need somebody to second. Marvin, you need to ask if anybody would like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll make the motion, Marvin. Okay, it's Regina. I make a motion to approve the proposal from A&P Air Conditioning dated March 17th, 2021 for the total price of $26,475 for each tower. The total will be $52,950.
And who will second it?
I, Alexandra, will second the motion.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Aye. All in favor. Thank you. Issue number 3, under old business, the sprinkler system update. Advanced Fire is the new company who has done all our new fire sprinkler, fire alarm safety. In the past, over the years, we've used All Fire, and it's the recommendation that we now move over to Advanced since it's a brand new system, and it will be a one-stop situation with them where we don't have to have the source first call Advance and then have to relay it to All Fire. It will save us time, and it will save us money. All Fire's prices have been continuously going up, and we've been wanting to get away from them, and this is our perfect opportunity now that we have Advanced Fire with their new system on premise. So my recommendation is that we move forward with Advanced. Is there any questions from the board?
No, I think we should move forward. That's okay. I think that's what we should do.
Okay, that was who speaking?
Guillermo.
Guillermo.
Can I make a motion?
Okay, Guillermo. Oh no, you any questions first from the association? Any technical questions? Anybody have any questions that they would like to ask?
No, I'm in favor. I know this company very well.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, somebody would like to make a proposal motion to accept Advance?
I make a motion to accept the proposal from Advanced Fire Sprinklers dated March 2nd, 2021, in the total amount of $9,150.
I'll second the
Who will
motion.
second that motion? Okay. Was that Alexandra?
Well,
Yes,
Guillermo, I second motion.
Okay, Alexandra and Guillermo both second the motion. All in favor?
You
Yes.
can't. You have only one person who can second, so.
Who was first? Because
Alexandra
it was breaking
basically-
up.
Alexandra seconded. Alexandra
I
seconded
made the
first.
motion and Alexander seconded it.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
motion passes. Thank you. Next item on the old business agenda is the insurance renewal. We renewed the insurance policy on Tuesday afternoon with our current insurer. The good news is that even with rising rates, our insurance came down approximately $10,000 and change. This is a process that in the past, when I was president, I've always started the process right about Thanksgiving time. This time we inherited it, got off to a late start, but we managed to be in contact with about a half a dozen insurance companies. Most of them could not compete, including our previous agent, who was excellent, that we had for several years, and another very large agency that we were looking forward to meeting with, which was People's Trust, pulled out of the commercial property line business. So the other companies that we had spoken to was UAW, Juan Cordoba. He had also been in to meet with Ken, the previous manager, back in early January, and he had gotten back with us this week with a formal email that he couldn't compete. Also, Kevin Glassman from Wells Fargo, Lloyd's of London, also responded formally by email that he could not compete or offer any carrier lines. So we're very happy to be able to stay with Brown & Brown and have a $10,000 reduction in our insurance.
okay.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, that concludes old business. Moving on to,
Marvin, we need, Marvin,
yeah.
I'm sorry. We just.
You need a ratification here?
Correct. We need a ratification of the
Okay.
insurance renewal, okay?
What
We
you
need a
mean
ratification insurance So we will call for someone on the board to make a presentation for the acceptance of the motion of the
motion.
Brown and Brown
Make a
policy.
motion.
I make a motion to accept the Brown and Brown. There are agents with their recommendations for the insurance on the building for the year. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Who is seconding the motion of Regina to accept Brown and Brown in a renewal, insurance renewal?
For the
It's
year.
been done already. It's already been done. We're voting on something.
Danny, oh,
Yes.
okay, okay, so let me explain something, and I'm gonna explain something to the entire membership here.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Sometimes there are certain line items or agenda items that need to be approved with a specific time frame. There's an urgency to do that. So as was noted before by Marvin, considering the board was not presented with enough time to shop around for insurances, and we had to basically go right ahead with the renewal with Brown and Brown, who happened to be, luckily to us, a very good choice, but we had to go ahead and approve it within a very short period of time. Sometimes the decision is made among the board, but then we wait for the board meeting to ratify it, meaning to vote on it. But it's not something that we're voting to change, but we're just basically giving an approval for the decision that was already made. So considering Brown and Brown was already decided on, and they came at the lowest, actually by 20% than any insurance agent could have under the circumstances, at this point, we just need to ratify it. So a motion needs to be made, just like it is a new line item on the agenda. So a motion was already made by Regina. Who is seconding the motion? Is anybody from the
I'll
board
second the
seconding
motion.
the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Great. Are all in favor
All in,
of using Brown and Brown for the renewal insurance?
Yes, all in favor.
Thank you. Motion
Okay.
carries.
motion carries. Okay, under new business, the first item under new business is concrete restoration, okay? The previous board began a concrete restoration that we inherited. And right now, the concrete restoration applies to the 11 line. After assessing all the information that we have and meeting with the engineers and looking at the current situation, this is not an emergency situation at this time. And my recommendation, based on all the knowledge that we currently have, is that we engage engineering interview meetings and proposals from Billing Reinhardt, which is the company, the engineering company handling the penthouse pool, also S&D Structural Engineering.
Marvin, correction. Biller Reinhardt is the engineering company. The companies that we're going to be
that's correct. That is correct.
For bid, right? Restore Construction is the company. So.
Well, no, hold on a minute.
Paradigm,
prior to Udi, prior to Restore or any contracting companies, we want to entertain interviews and engineering from the following engineers so that we have various educational opinions. And the engineers that we would like to bring in and engage are Billings Reinhardt, who is the engineer on our pool project right now for the penthouse. Also, the engineering firm of S&D Structural, who handled our cooling towers and other elements. Also, Falcon Engineering, who has already been looking at this project and provided strictly the engineering just for the 11 line. And we'd also like to bring in MV5 engineering as well. And as we approach this project, we want to have them look at the scope of the entire complex as it pertains to the 40-year certification. Once we have all their opinions, we'll have a much better education from each one of them of how we want to proceed and who we feel will be the best engineer of choice to proceed with. Once we eventually do choose an engineer, then we'll put it out to bids to restoration contractors.
Right. Correct.
So with that being said, does the board have any questions or comments? Let's start first in order. How about with Danny?
I agree to this.
Okay. Guillermo?
Yes, I agree with this.
Okay. Mariano?
Yes, I think we should be stopping any work, current work, and wait for that to be under the umbrella of one engineer that's going to revise everything.
Okay. Regina?
Yes, yes, I agree.
Okay. Alexandra?
I want to ask, what exactly is causing the need for this restoration? Do we have a reason for this? Is it just nature, or?
Yeah, first of all, the restoration is age of the building. All buildings at this age, and even at the earlier age, already start having the lamination of the structure. Nobody has X-ray vision, so they have to sound out the building in different areas. They have to look for where the rebar, where you have it's hollow and you have rebar repairs. And this is a requirement for 40-year certification. However, we already have a few issues here that are rearing their heads now. So, and we've had situations now, we just had an emergency situation on the 7-11 line, which the previous board addressed, and that was immediately taken care of. So we need to be prepared for this, and we need to start this preparation now.
Okay, and the 11 line is on Tower 1, correct?
Yeah.
The 11 line is in Tower 1.
Okay, all right, thank you for answering my questions.
Okay, hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute.
Alexander?
Hold on 1 moment.
Okay.
Eli.
Agreeing.
Agreed. Okay, who was asking a question, wants to ask a question just now?
I have a question. Is there any noise expected to come from this project?
Big time.
Well, when we start the restoration project, yes, there will be noise. There will be drilling, etc., in order to get through the, through the CBS and into the rebar. Yeah, so there will be noise.
Is there do you know when about what time or when this is going to happen? It affects my job.
Well, this project will probably be started within the next 8 to 15 months.
Oh.
Estimated. That's right now, what's on our radar, but that could change.
So in about 18 months?
And about 8 to 15 months would be the anticipated start time.
Okay, I see. I understand. Thank you.
We need to raise the money too.
Any other questions from the association members?
No.
Okay, with that being said, then I'd like to propose a.
Actually, I have a question.
Go ahead.
It's Joanne.
Okay.
Are we going to be setting up a committee different committees for various projects in relations to that? I mean, just to get the community more involved. in
Not
the
for
process?
not for this type of project, not for concrete restoration. We would be looking at possibly at committees for other items, but not for the concrete restoration. In fact, what we will be having for the concrete restoration and a couple projects that involve construction are going to be a couple members of the Residents Association who will be on an advisory board, and they will have, those individuals have vast experience, on-hands experience in large construction, construction
But
and
why
management
not this
projects.
project? Why not this project and other projects? And it seems like this project will be the most expensive one. And if anything, we should
Well,
have
this,
members
like
of-
I just said, this project is going to have two advisor members who are very well experienced in large commercial construction projects and budget management.
and how will they be chosen?
By
They'll be chosen by the board.
And there will be non-board members from the community?
These are going to be individuals who are owners here in the association and who happen to have tremendous experience in large commercial construction projects of this type.
Right, but what I'm trying to understand is if it's going to be something like you guys are just going to designate someone, or will the entire community, people that are actually interested in participating, will they have the opportunity? Why only two?
Why only two? Because those two are going to be our advisors, handpicked by us, who sit in on our engineering meetings with the engineers that we are going to be bringing in. Okay, there is no sense of having individuals who are not knowledgeable in any matter of construction to be sitting in on this type of meeting.
John,
okay,
let me explain this. John, let me interrupt you 1 second. Our intention in this project is to hire a professional project manager. I don't know for full time and how it is. That's why we're going right now to interview few engineering company, first to educate us and to get the bids too. But my recommendation is going to be a professional project manager to oversee this project. This is a huge project and we want a project manager, that's my opinion, with experience and liability. We're not going to go like we have the experience with the last project we have.
Can I ask Joanna a question? Maybe we didn't understand you. What type of involvement you believe it would be beneficial to have from other members of the community, if not technical?
Well, I think that what Danny just mentioned is important and I think is valuable. But in addition to that, I think a lot of us want to be involved. Maybe we're not as knowledgeable, but perhaps we can learn and better understand, because when you don't understand, it kind of creates confusion and also just creates a lot of, maybe misunderstanding and doubt in what is going on. So I think it's important to have someone that has professional knowledge, but at the same time to have, members of the community that can participate and at least try to understand what's happening, so that we can, understand better what's happening and, just feel more comfortable.
The board will present all their findings from the engineers to the association.
I understand the board can present it, but it does not replace firsthand, hearing it firsthand from, the professionals. So third party.
Joanne, excuse me 1 second. I can promise you, we're going to give a full presentation to all the unit owner with the engineer, what we pick. That's my opinion. So it'll be no question, and the professional going to answer all the questions.
Daniel,
When we get to that, excuse me one moment, when we get to that point, okay, each engineer will be brought in to a future board meeting, okay, for a Q&A session, all right? And that's when everybody will have an opportunity to ask questions directly to the structural engineers. And that's how the process should be handled.
Anyway,
I would like to add something just so everybody understand the entire process. Whenever we come across a project of that magnitude, there are several presentations that can be done by the engineering companies in an open forum where members can attend. That is way before they even submit all their findings or their proposals for the bids. This is going to be a completely open process. And when I say open process, I mean it's going to go through processes, as I've come across that certain things have not been done in the past. This will be a process that will start from A to Z, will go through all the applicable requirements. And in addition to that, I will advise the board from experience that I had that a project manager will be coming from the engineering company that actually did the scope of the original work in order to determine what needs to be done in that building. That is giving us an opportunity to have someone who is non-biased and who can manage the construction company that will be chosen along the way. In addition to that, the board will appoint 2 or 3 members from the community to be on an advisory committee. That's in addition to 3 board members that we have with experience in construction. So the whole process from the management standpoint is going to be transparent, it's going to be clear, and it's going to have a process that can be followed by everyone. And questions will be answered along the way in an organized manner.
May I make a comment? I think the community is more concerned about transparency. So we were burned in the past with capital, and I remember meetings describing how great the project will be, and we ended up with a lot of issues and also financial issues. That's why we are seeking to have transparency, and maybe the observers will not have the technical knowledge, but at least they will know about the financial side of the project. And please do not underestimate the expertise of the people living in this building, because my background is mechanical engineering, and I will not call myself completely ignorant in the technical aspect of the project. So I think we are looking or seeking transparency.
So, Udi,
Udi,
Udi, this is Paul Warren, if you can hear me.
If I can add something.
Sorry.
It's like a little brief thing, Paul. I think that the thing that was the look here, it's the reporting. If we have regular reporting on the findings on the project, the management company or the engineers, and that is shared, I think it would bring some comfort to everybody. I'm done. Thank you.
My recommendation right now for the board on this issue is that we accept the procedure of entertaining the engineers that were named and possibly others for their proposals and the engineering meetings that we are going to have for each one to provide their perspectives on the project. And then afterwards, we can proceed accordingly. So if somebody would like to second that motion.
Marvin, this is Paul Warren.
Yes.
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 Please be aware that your technical support personnel are claiming that there's a technical issue and denying access to residents to record the account as is required, the rights for residents if they so choose to record the meetings. Please instruct them to release the board.
Wait, Paul,
Yes.
are you on a computer or on an iPhone?
I am on an iPhone and I'm on an iPad. I have a Zoom account, and on that Zoom account, I have a personal Zoom account. And when I have logged into the account, these account numbers in my personal Zoom account.
Okay, let me go 1 second, Paul.
Marvin, we had explained the process and the reason why we can't allow any other device other than PC to record. The meeting will be available as we are recording it as well. This was explained publicly.
And
Okay.
Nadia,
And if any explanation needs to be in the statute, and I'm not aware if Vanessa, if there is such a requirement, it has to be within the statute. And I'm not aware of anything in the statute that says that there's a special requirement that restricts or allows how residents get to record the meeting if they so choose.
Again, Paul, the meeting can be recorded on a computer. So if it's a technical issue with the ability to record it on an iPhone or a tablet, that's why the recording of this meeting will be posted on the website for everyone to be able to view. Nadia, you had something you wanted to say?
I hear you, Udi, but what I'm saying is that I have a personalized Zoom account, which allows me, if I so choose, to record the meeting, whether I'm on my iPhone or on my iPad. Once it's released, I've done it before.
Then I have a great idea. Tomorrow, let's get together. Let's create a Zoom meeting as an example between me and you, and let me see what is the technical issue that does not allow you to record it on your end. Maybe it's a technical issue that can be resolved.
And I'll be more than happy to, because like this is the second time that this is occurring, and this has never happened before.
You are correct. We will take care of that tomorrow between us, Paul. Go ahead, Nadia.
I'm recording, so I just wanted to make that known that I am recording it as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. With that being said, the board wants to move on right now. The motion I was making is the recommendation that we follow the procedure of bringing in the said named engineers that I had listed, plus the possibility of more engineers.
Marvin, there's no motion to be done here. This was the discussion only. There's no motion to be made. Moving on to the next item.
Okay, next item on the agenda is under new business screening. This involves income credit, score requirements for unit owners, renters, and insurance certificates. Okay, right now with our current situation here at the building, our units are tremendously undervalued from a resale standpoint and also for rental income. And if we want to increase the resale value of our units and the rental income value substantially, as well as eliminate undesirable elements of renters, we really need to increase our credit score requirement back to where it was, which was 750, and also increase the minimum amount requirement for income for owners and renters. In addition to that, we need to establish a minimum rental amount for 2-bedroom units to be rented and 1-bedroom units to be rented, because we are very much undervalued, and we want to be able to keep the rental occupancy at 13% or below. the bank industry, which has always been at 15% in order for banks to approve mortgage loans when buildings are at 15% occupancy or more from renters, eliminates buyers from being able to buy and sellers from being able to sell unless they have cash buyers. And those minimums are starting to drop as banks are reestablishing their risk. We are not a rental property. Our philosophy has always been that we want a majority of owner-occupied units, not investors, so that we can protect the physical aspect of the building, as well as having very good quality owners and renters. So I'm going to open up this discussion first among the board. Then it'll be opened up to the association.
Marvin? It's Regina.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Regina.
I agree 100%. I've been a real estate broker in the area for 25 years plus all my other colleagues, speaking to them. And this is the market now, and we've got to get up to speed. We've had, the past 2 months, we've had a couple from out of town. They rented a lovely unit on the 10th floor, and they love it. They were so surprised, the condition of the building and the new renovation, and they couldn't stop saying enough. And the 24-hour security, they have a family, and they rented the apartment for $2,200, just what the owner asked for.
Okay, that's beautiful. So what we have to change?
So now we have to establish a policy for a few things, Danny.
Yeah, what you want to establish?
Well, Marvin, I'm going to read.
No, what you want to establish? I ask you one question. You say.
Danny, please let her answer the question.
Okay. I want to ask you one question, please.
First, yes. Go. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, they want to limit the rental to 11 or 15%. Who is the owner or board or whatever? How you choose who is belong to the 15%? How we pick up the unit owner who is belong to the 15%?
You mean as
I don't think you have a right to do this.
The rental cap is concerned?
Danny, let me answer that question. Let me answer that question. For example, right now, there's a fluctuation with some buildings in Aventura that have hit their 15% level with renters. So what happens is when another renter, when somebody wants to rent their unit out, okay, they're now on a waiting list. They cannot rent their unit out until it falls below the threshold. Otherwise, it prevents owners from selling unless they have cash buyers, and it prevents buyers from buying because they can't get approved for their mortgages. I could tell you 3 buildings that have just been going through this, and they've been fluctuating back and forth. One of them's Coronado, the other one is Waterview, and the other one is El Dorado. So it's been like a seesaw.
I understand you. I don't know if we as a board, as the association, have the rights to do it. I don't know what the bylaws say. I don't know. I don't know if I have the rights to limit the people and put somebody on a standby.
Yeah, I think that's a slippery slope there.
Can I have a question?
I don't know if I have the rights to do it to the owner.
No, we are listening. Women, just good night for everyone. So I'm completely disagree 100%. For example, Regina, you are a realtor.
So are you, Eli. You know the market.
Yeah, so I have my apartment on the 21st floor, brand new,
And you have a gorgeous knockout view. I'm familiar with it.
Yes. And I'm trying to rent for 2,000.
2,000.
Yes. So maybe you can help me to rent my apartment for 2,200. But I'm completely, my opinion, we are in a board, we have the right to disagree.
Yes,
My
of course.
opinion is 100% I'm disagree with that.
Have you been showing it, Eli?
What, Regina? Sorry?
Have you been showing it? Is it on the market? Have you been showing it?
Yeah, I've been showing, and you can see a lot of apartments that is on the market from 1,900, 1,800. But if you want, I can give you permission to rent my apartment, and maybe you can try to rent for 2,200.
Okay. This is Mariano. I believe that fixing or putting a minimum in the rental fee and increasing, I believe I haven't heard, but we were talking about 125 on income and the credit record to 750. It's just, or believing that this is going to increase the value of the property, it's delusional for me. It goes against the basic economy. Each time you fix a price, economy says that the offer retreats, and you ended up with a lower break-even point. So I don't think that's the case. This is offer and demand that is going to get us the best price and the best value for all the owners. And what we need to focus on, it's not on that, it's in improving the building and improving the things and the flaws we have. I could be okay to adjust the income to a much more reasonable limit. And 750 as a credit record, being myself an immigrant with not that many years in the States. 750, it's a high record for somebody that has not been here 20 years. So we are going to shrink our possibilities to rent our units in case.
Mariano, I've seen credit scores in the.
I didn't finish. Regina, please.
Mariano?
Regina, I didn't finish.
I'm sorry. I've seen credit.
I didn't finish. Can I finish?
Oh. Yes.
Can I finish? Okay. So
I get over
having increasing the livability of this building to of the partner are going to the one all the other opponents. If you change situation in your life that affects your ability to live in Florida, that would make you sell the apartment. So we want to have a lot of apartments in sale, because I'm not sure if you've been seeing, but people go in and out in this type of markets, and we're going to have in the market as well. Well, I think I'm breaking out. I'm sorry.
I have a quick question.
Mariano, are you finished?
I didn't.
Yes, I'm sorry. I think somebody said that I broke out a lot, so.
Yeah, you were cutting up, but I just have one question. That I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you mentioned undesirables. Who falls under undesirables?
Undesirables would be individuals who are egging vehicles on a daily basis, other individuals who are intentionally trying to start dumpster fires, individuals who are constantly dumping the garbage from their vehicles right at their parking space. Now, keep in mind the mathematics on this. if you have a building that has 432 units, and let's say your maximum capacity or renters are 15%, okay, which is about what, 70 units approximately? When 90% of your problems are being generated from 15% of your unit residents, which fall into the rental category, you got a severe problem. You need to get the quality of your renters up, and the ones that are just sliding by barely meeting the minimum of the credit score that has been reduced in the minimum income level, okay, they have no respect for the physical property of the building. And for example, the problems over at other buildings, and I'm going to use Coronado as one of them, which was a beautiful, beautiful property. The association is completely in bankruptcy. The element of residents in that building that are considered undesirables are hovering over 35%, and the building has been diminished in the last several years, where it's gone from having security and valet in each of the 3 towers to all being eliminated, and now just having a front security gate. And the rents that buildings across the street, which are catwalk buildings, for those of you who don't know what a catwalk is a building where you enter strictly from an elevator elevator downstairs. You have no security. The only security you may have at the building is roving security from when it gets dark till morning. You have no valet or anything like that. And these catwalk buildings are getting 10% to 15% less rental income than we are, and some of them are getting an even number. And that's quite embarrassing, considering that we are on our own private gated road in the middle of a pristine country club, and we have a beautifully renovated building, and we are undervalued. I just want to say one last thing on that issue. Is I met an elderly lady earlier in the week while I was having coffee, who is a renter in Bonavita. Bonavita is at the corner intersection of Country Club Drive and Aventura Boulevard. That was the first building ever built in Aventura. It's a nice building, but it doesn't have the grounds and the amenities that we have. And she is paying rent on the top floor, which is considered their penthouse, but not really a penthouse. It's like an 18, 20-story building. Her unit square footage is interior space, 1,300 and some square feet, and she's paying $3,000 a month in income. Our units, our 2-bedroom units, should be realistically at 2,500 to 2,800 is what we should be commanding. And being right now that this is truly a seller's market with minimal product on the market, so many people are leaving states like in cities like New York, New Jersey, Illinois, where they're used to paying, $4,000 for 800 square foot apartments that don't even have a doorman, and they're coming to Florida.
Marvin,
and for their value.
Amazing, but you're completely off topic about undesirables, which is a term that's usually used about certain races, and that's a completely inappropriate term. At the end of the day, when I moved in here, I did not have a 740 credit score. So I don't think that a credit score has anything to do with egging cars. I don't think, and Carl, I see you, but I think you're going completely off topic and making this a completely different stance than what it needs to be. And it's not right. It's not.
Well, you're completely incorrect, because undesirable, in my opinion, is completely, to clear you up on that matter and that accusation, undesirables is colorblind as far as I'm concerned.
I'm sure
okay?
you're
That has nothing to do with it.
Sure.
If I may speak, it's Joanne. I'm not getting the connection between, people that are throwing eggs, dumps, doing something with the dumpsters or the garbage, and what that necessarily has to do with renters, unless you have identified and you have facts to say that all of those, things actually were done by people that are renters. I think if that's the case, you're accusing a group of people unfairly, because I'm just not getting the connection.
Carl's starting to fall on the other side. I just wanted you to say, because I've been watching the video.
Joanne, we actually do have the facts of where these problems are coming from.
Can I say something? This is Alexandra from the board.
Go ahead.
I
agree with Mariano Magro. Absolutely.
I think he's absolutely incorrect.
No.
Please give Alexandra the opportunity to speak, because the first process of this is all the board members get to speak on this issue, and then actually the members of the association get to speak. Alexandra, please continue.
So I agree with Mariano Magro, my fellow board member, that we need to improve Delvista, and I share his hesitation about the credit score, because the average credit score in North Miami is 630.26. In Miami, it's 650.9. On top of that, raising it to such a high amount gives me such pause, because the average salary in Florida, according to ZipRecruiter, is $63,302 a year, or $25 an hour. And also in South Florida, only 3.1% of jobs in South Florida pay six figures. So those are my hesitations. Thank you.
This is Danny. This is Danny.
Please remember that we were at 750 in the past. Terry lowered it. Previous manager lowered it, and with that came problems.
Let me ask the board the question.
Marvin,
the board question, and let me ask especially
Marvin.
Regina.
Danny, go ahead. Danny, go ahead.
First, I want to know legally if we can do any change. When I bought my unit, nobody told me if I have to resell it, I need to limited income or credit report. What is the score? Especially nobody told me I cannot. I have a limited how much I can rent the unit. The only condition they gave me when I bought the unit is to be 1 year a minimum rent. And I don't know if as a board member I have the rights to make those changes.
That's what I remember as well.
One more thing I want to add, that I completely agree with everything that Alexandra brings to the table. And when I bought my apartment, I have personally an interview with Regina, and no one's told me about rules for selling my apartment, for rent my apartment. And I'm agree also with Danny, if we have the right to do it. Thank you.
Marvin, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I have to say something. You know, most of the problems that we've had in our apartments, in our property, is the problems always come by renters.
Right.
So that's why I'm trying to increase. It has to be increased the minimum income, because the kind of renters that we're getting now are not what we really want. We need better renters to give some point of increasing, our property. You can see, sometimes, I don't know what you mean by 17K to 100. I think it's nothing. And speaking about that, most of the people make 600. I do not agree. If they cannot make 750, they don't deserve to live here. That's it.
Wow.
Okay.
Appreciate your comments, Guillermo, and I just would like to state that the reason we have put this up as a topic of conversation for discussion is because I've been approached by many unit owners here who own property. Some of them have moved off property to upscale buildings, but they have retained their units here, and they are leaving them not rented out because they do not want to rent them out based on the market conditions that Delvista is getting at a minimal, and they do not want the wrong tenants in their units that they have beautifully remodeled. So that's the reason this topic of conversation has been put on the agenda, in addition to a couple items that relate to this agenda item. Is it's also very important that in our screening packages we enforce the situations of owners having insurance policies, as well as renter having insurance policies that name the association in the certificates as it relates to a lot of damage that occurs from water damage that comes from their units and other things that they are responsible for, that the association winds up having to pay out of pocket for, which increases our master insurance rates and also increases the maintenance budget. So what we're going to do here is take a couple other comments from the association members, and then we're going to move for an adjournment. Who's speaking?
Yes, this is Carl Perkins. I'd like to make a statement.
Go ahead, Carl. Go ahead,
Okay.
Carl.
I've been on the board. I was on the board for 2 years, and I was on road maintenance for 3 years. And during my time on the board, I have seen none of the actions that you're talking about, where renters were the ones that were causing damage on the property. And if you look through the minutes and the logs that we have down in the office, there is nothing to say that the renters have caused significant damage to the property. And when they come in, they give a deposit, and when they leave, they get their deposit back. So without you using broad statements like they and this and that, who are they? Who is this? And unless you have some factual information, all you're going by is what you think, because you have no data to back that up. And after been on the board for the last 2 years, I haven't seen anything that supports that.
100%. We all can talk and say whatever we want. What I understand, I don't know even if we have the legal rights to do these changes. So
okay, so let me enlighten everybody on that issue in closing, just so I can bring everyone to an understanding on this. Number one, whether this is something that legally can be done or the extent that it can be done, that will be discussed with legal for an advice. Now, once legal tells us exactly what we can or cannot do with reference to this line item, once it becomes an agenda item for a vote, the board still need to vote on it. So it is very important to get every resident opinion, so the board is educated, not just from their own knowledge and information, but from the information given by the membership, which is the rest of the 427 unit owners.
433.
Oh, 433 is
okay.
Overall. The board has said it,
let me interrupt you right there. So before the membership and the unit owners vote on it, I would like for you and the office to show us in writing how many renters have been cited for any infractions of Delvista rules.
That's the first time I'm here today, and I'm a board member.
Can I say something? It's Regina. I'm trying.
Regina, go ahead. Go
Yes,
ahead.
Can you hear me? Can you? No, I tried.
Yes.
before. We have an application that we got today in the office. The young lady makes $110,000 a year. She's got a good record of employment, and her stellar credit is 810. She just rented a lovely apartment here, and she's very happy. So I just wanted to say that. And Alexandra, thank you for your statistics.
Regina, let me ask you a question.
Wait a minute, I didn't
Let
finish.
me ask you a question.
Hold on, Danny, let Regina finish, please. Let Regina finish.
Regina is always
Thank
giving a story,
Alexandra
man.
for her statistics. But, and you included North Miami Beach. It's a totally different area. It's different single family homes. It's different demographics, everything. You can't compare it to Aventura. And you
That
know,
would be like comparing Palm Beach to,
exactly.
you know, Palm
And
Beach to
yeah,
to
absolutely.
Fort Lauderdale. You can't compare North Miami or Miami proper-Dade to Aventura. You know, every city, Key Biscayne can't be compared to those. Sunny Isle can't be compared to those. You're not matching up apples and apples to oranges and oranges.
So
Go ahead, Georgina,
and
and then Danny.
I'm very passionate about this because I know my area. And
You know everything.
I forgot
Danny.
what I was going to say. All right. So, the statistics. Yes. Thank you for that. But you have to be out in the public and in the streets and really see what's going on. But I do thank you for that. You work very hard, Alexandra. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. And since I am so new to
But you know,
Florida,
I'm not
that
in
is
the
my
streets,
error. Aventura has an average of 701.62 for average credit score.
It's still not realistic. You have to be out in the streets. I know my buyers and sellers.
Right, but the average in Aventura is the most realistic you can have. There's no, like, you can't dispute that data.
All right, so we
What's telling you is real data.
Some things.
And Regina, you
Yes.
approved me. I met with you, and my credit score was nowhere near that. So how are you changing it now to
I
such a?
believe you had your sister with you. I think.
No, actually, when we met actually alone. My sister is actually 19, so she had nothing. She moved in because she was my sister and needed a place.
No, I don't want to go into personal stuff.
Okay, we don't have to go into personal, but you're saying, and my credit score was nowhere near that, and you let me in with welcome, like open arms.
Because
so
you
now,
went for a mortgage, didn't you, Nadia? Didn't you go for a mortgage, dear? You had a mortgage, subject to a mortgage.
Why are you disclosing
So
this?
what's the
yes,
difference?
most
If they
of
can
us have
qualify for a
mortgages,
mortgage,
but
why
what does
wouldn't
it
they
have
be
to do
able
with the credit score?
That if the bank okayed you, then it's good for it. So
if the bank okays them, then I guess we should okay them, and we shouldn't have to have a 750 credit score.
Let me say something.
Go ahead, ma'am.
We do make some considerations. It's a broad opinion when we get
like for undesirables. Is that the broad opinion?
It has nothing to do with that. No.
No. Okay. I just wanted to ask.
Well, if people have a score of 900, why won't, and the 6-digit salary, why do they need to rent?
Hello. We make considerations also. I mean, this is not the Soviet Union here. You know what I'm saying?
It just sounds really nasty and very.
No, it's not. Don't even.
It sounds very out of touch, actually. And I think Alex brought up some really good points, and those are undisputable data when it comes to credit, when it comes to income.
A big renovation, and it's.
Oh my God.
Talk about statistics.
Look,
renters usually don't care.
Look.
Yeah, but that's an opinion. That's not factual. And if I was saying that he's been on the. Yeah, absolutely. But you can't make rules.
Well, that's why we're having
an opinion. That's unacceptable.
Look, by the end of the day, this is, like Udi says, is a board approval. And
yes. Eli, you're 100% right.
Wait a minute. Let me finish. And also, I want to bring one more point. that I know that Marvin, probably you and Guillermo disagree because you are together. But I also, when you're gonna vote or discuss, wait a minute. Let me finish. I respect when you talk.
Thank you, Eli.
Yeah, but let me finish and don't interrupt me, please. So by the end of the day, I want to bring another point that is about, and let me finish, about 1 year lease that I never agreed for 2 years. And if you're gonna bring this and you have the right to vote, we can also vote for change. We can vote for change. You want to vote for change for 750, and you can also vote for 340 for the credit score. I want also to make a consideration for vote to change from 2 years lease for 1 year lease. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move for an adjournment. And on this subject, Carl, are you still there, Carl? Is Carl still on board? Hello?
Currently not. Carl, are you there?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to respond to Carl regarding his question and comment of whether or not we have the facts and the names of those that are problematic, and we do have the facts. However, we are not at liberty to provide names, as this is following legal issues at this time. So, but we do have all the facts of everything that was described as far as the different types of vandalism that are on a continual basis, noise violations, garbage strewn all over the place, and so forth, and what comes from owners and what comes from renters. We do have that information.
Marvin,
at this time, right? Yes.
Oh, sorry to
yes.
No, finish, and I just want to ask you something.
Go ahead.
No, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. I'm finished.
Okay. Marvin, let me ask you something. Let's discuss something here. Mortgage, okay? Let's say some buyer wants to buy one apartment and his credit score is 600. He's gonna pay a high interest. You agree with me?
Well, Eli, he may pay a very high interest, and he may have to put down 40 to 50% with the bank to acquire a mortgage. That's not my.
Okay, but let's say he's 650. 650 is normal credit score for a mortgage. He's gonna be approved with 4.5%. I just approve someone, okay? No problem. We don't have the right to reprove. Sorry for my English, okay? I don't have to deny his buying. We have the right or not?
That's a question that we have with legal. That is a question that we have for legal. I can't answer that question.
Because if someone wants to, let's say I'm gonna sell my apartment. I'm gonna sell my apartment for Osama bin Laden or something like that, okay? Someone like that with a low credit score. Low. Let's say someone with 400 that just came from the jail, killed someone. Okay, I'm not racist, okay? I'm just telling a case, and could be a really case. What's the difference between a tenant and someone that buy the apartment with a serious low credit score? And
we have a criteria in our package. We've always had it. Okay, right now it's at 680. At one time it used to be 750. There's many requirements that have already been in our documentation, Eli.
No,
okay, that's why we're having that discussion, and that's why we're working with legal to see what criteria can be established and what can't. Okay, we also have regulations where we can turn an individual down based on criminal records of pedophilia or different type of things. Okay, every building has it.
I have one question and one suggestion. The question.
Go ahead, Danny, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Okay. The question is, what's happened with international buyer or international renter? They don't have any credit. That's number one. And before we spending money on legal, I think we should put it on the table for the next board meeting and see if the board member agree even to send it to legal.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I heard Regina mention, if I may, Regina mentioned that they would have, I guess they would make exceptions to that 750, the $125,000 income. Is that what I heard you say, Regina?
Yes, Joanne.
Okay.
We try to work with people. You know that.
Yes, but here's the problem with that.
Okay.
The problem is who will determine who gets the exception or not. You understand? Like, that's a problem. Like,
we're becoming like a judges right now, and I don't want to be a judge.
Correct. And not only that, like, if there's a 15%, like, who determines who gets to rent their apartment and like for how long? So someone that's had the apartment rented for 10 years because they were rented 10 years ago, they get to continue to rent it for another 10 years, while someone who needs to rent their apartment is on a waiting list for 5 years. Like how, like that's very subjective. And I think that those are things that need to be considered. And I'm very like suspect about that, because when you leave it up to people to decide, then they get to choose their buddies who get to have exceptions. They get to, you know, all these exceptions are made and it's not made in an equitable way.
Well, it's not done like that. It goes on to a waiting list, and there's buildings right now that are unfortunately going through that. It's a very delicate situation, but buildings are going through that, okay, where there are only sellers and buyers transactions that are being done right now are buyers that are paying straight cash. Nothing's going through the banks because the banks aren't approving those transactions. So it is a delicate situation. It is a delicate situation. I know that somebody just went through that they wanted to, they actually wanted to rent a unit that they saw in the market in a specific building, and they, you know, came to terms with the owner, and unfortunately, the owner wasn't allowed to rent at that time until, you know, another unit came off the market, and they have a systematic process of order, which is done legitimately in order to, you know, be in compliance. So I hope that answers your questions for now. We're looking into a lot of these issues, and right now I am going to make a motion for adjournment for this meeting. Who will second it?
I'll second it. Regina seconds. Thank you all.
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor, aye. Thank you very much for everybody that's attended and contributed. Meeting is adjourned at 8:22 p.m. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.